They called me Alexandra Lisowska once. I was a girl born under the wide open skies of Ruthenia, in a small town that always smelled of fresh wheat, sharp pine, and the cool river wind. I remember laughter, my father's deep voice, the comforting chime of church bells on a Sunday morning. But laughter, I learned, is a fragile thing. One spring morning, everything changed. Raiders came like a sudden, violent storm sweeping in from the Black Sea. The Tartar riders took everything we had, our fields, our homes, and our freedom. They told me I was lucky to be alive. I didn't feel lucky. Not when they sold me at the slave market in Kaffa, my wrists bound raw, the cries of others echoing through the crowded stalls. From there, my journey took me to Istanbul, the very heart of the Ottoman Empire, a world of gleaming marble and deep shadows, shimmering silk and whispered secrets. I was young, terrified, and filled with a silent, burning anger. Even then, in that moment of despair, I made a vow to myself. If I must live here, I will not just survive, I will rise. They brought me to the Topkapi Palace, into the harem of Sultan Suleiman, the ruler of half the world. I was just one among hundreds, a nameless girl in a sea of faces. They gave me a new name, Hurrem, the joyful one. What a cruel irony, I thought. But names have power, and I decided to wear mine like a suit of armor. Suleiman wasn't an ordinary man. You could see it in his eyes. They held both the capacity for mercy and the weight of absolute command. The first time he truly noticed me, I sang a song from my homeland. It was a simple melody, as soft as a prayer, and as sad as a fading memory. He stopped walking, he listened, and in that one moment, destiny turned its face toward me. I became more than just another concubine. I became his companion, his confidant, and eventually his lawful wife, the first woman in centuries to officially marry a sultan. The court was shaken to its core. The viziers whispered behind their hands, and the harem seethed with jealousy. The Ruthenian witch, they called me, the red-haired enchantress who bends the sultan's will. Let them whisper, I thought. Every woman in that palace was born into chains of one kind or another. I merely learned how to hold them. Years passed, and I bore him sons Mehmed, Selim, Bayezid, and Anjir. Each one was a piece of my own heart, but also a pawn in a game far older and more dangerous than any of us. The Ottoman throne was a perilous inheritance, built on a foundation of both love and blood. I learned early on that a mother's love must also be sharp, like a blade, to protect her children. Of course, there were rivals. Mahidevran, proud and fierce, was the mother of Mustafa Suleiman's eldest son. Between us stood centuries of unbending tradition, and we both knew that only one of us could prevail. History will judge me for what happened next, though it will never know the sleepless nights I spent consumed by fear not for myself, but for my sons. I channeled my energy into building. I commissioned mosques, charities, public bathhouses, and schools. They called it raw ambition. I called it survival through legacy. I wanted the empire that had stolen my freedom to one day remember me not as a slave, but as a woman who helped shape it. Yet even absolute power has its price. As Suleiman grew older, the shadows around us thickened. Intrigue, betrayal, and the constant threat of poison the harem was a battlefield without swords. I watched as Mustafa, noble and bright, fell to his death by his own father's command. That day, I saw tears on Suleiman's face, the first and the last I ever saw him shed, and despite everything, I did not rejoice. Because though the world may call me ruthless, I was a mother long before I was ever a queen. When sickness began to claim me, I would watch the city from my palace at Haseki, bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. But Istanbul, the city that was once my prison, had become my realm. The young girl from Ruthenia had become Haseki Sultan, the woman who spoke beside the Sultan himself, whose words helped shape the empire's future. And now, as I stand at the threshold of eternity, I see my life laid bare before me, every choice, every tear, every smile that masked a hidden wound. People ask me, was it all worth it? And I say, yes. Because I was not born to be forgotten. Because even the chains that once bound me became the threads I wove into my own crown. Because love fears flawed and all-consuming can build empires just as easily as it destroys them. If the Almighty asks me whether I regret the path I walked, I will bow my head and say, I was only what you made me, a single spark that refused to die in the storm. And if history remembers me as Hurrem Sultan, the joyful one, then let it also remember the truth that joy is not the absence of sorrow, but the triumph of fire over fate. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tales from the past. We'll see you next time.